Hello, welcome to Tech Talk with T&E. I am Terry. And
I'm Elisabeth.
we have Michael and soon to have Traci Rayburn joining us today. So, welcome everybody. Happy Monday. Elizabeth, want to open anything
Happy
up?
Monday.
Gotta love Mondays. So, we have our staff meeting right before this. So, depending on how the staff meeting goes is depending on the start of the Happy Monday. Today
It went great. Everybody's in a great mood. Everybody's excited. Everybody's working hard. All the great things that you want to hear, right?
Exactly. So, anyways, like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff that everybody wants to ask you to do, like us. This is actually our 5th episode, so pretty cool. The last few weeks, we've been inviting couples in digital marketing on, kind of just to see the dynamic of how they work together and asking some specific questions about, different things about the family, digital marketing, working together type environment. But yeah, it's welcome, Michael. How are you?
Doing great. I appreciate you having me on. Traci, like I said, will be here momentarily. She's out of town, so she's
there
here
she is.
So,
welcome, Miss Traci.
Hi. Sorry, I was having a problem with my internet.
Oh yeah, that happens. So
yeah. Well, it's been a trial and error at this house. She lives in a very old house, and I think everything is blocking the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the very first one, I found out that my video doesn't work in StreamYard on Chrome, so I have to use Firefox for this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. One of those. Figured it was just easier to use Firefox than to figure out why I couldn't use Chrome. So
that's really strange because Firefox has components of Chrome in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's only StreamYard. It works on Zoom, works everything else, but yeah, so I don't know. But anyways, good morning, Skylar. For the second time today. So, well, welcome, Rayburns.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves and, individually and as a couple, and we'll jump right in.
Go ahead, babe.
You can go first.
Okay. Put me on the spot. That's fine. I'm Michael Rayburn. I've been in digital marketing for a little over 10 years now at this point. Mostly known for Domination Simplified, the white label SEO agency. I'm pretty well known in the community. I'm definitely not an unknown. And, we've been working on developing some software here recently, as well as Traci and I have started a business recently together as well. But go ahead, babe.
Wow, you gave such a blanket story about yourself. Goodness.
Well, I could let's be honest, I could be here for at least a full hour running about myself, from start to finish. Nobody wants to go back, back in the dark ages.
I got to dive in deep though, because I'm a badass and I got to tell about it. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, Michael. Were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just saying that nobody wants to hear about I know the Navy guy over here doesn't want to hear about my Army time and all that stuff. So,
yeah, whatever.
Nobody wants to hear about it.
So just to kind of highlight a few things. That's all.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe.
Yeah. So just a real quick, I really didn't even think about the fact that I had to introduce myself in some formal fashion. So at least I comb my hair. How about that? So I'm Dr. Traci Eisenberg Rayburn, and I do have a wealth of knowledge in the IT field because of my military experience. And then I did IT data center builds and things after the military, but I really wanted to shift that and be more hands-on with people. So I left corporate America and started my own business as a business consultant. And I did that more than anything because I noticed, I was giving a lot of people advice on how to fix their businesses or grow or change or even individual growth and leadership things. And I just noticed I was doing a lot of free things that I could be getting paid a lot of money for. I listened to a book by somebody one time and the guy was like, oh, you could easily make $500,000 doing this. And I was like, I do that all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I need to shift. But I did start out a few years ago doing, and I said specifically consulting. But to be quite honest with you, in this last year, I realized I do prefer coaching and working hands-on with people. And so I've done a bit of a shift in my business. I mean, I still have E&R business consulting and still do coaching with management, project management, as well as now I've added a leadership category, came up with my own battle tested leadership methodology process and have been pushing that out. But like Michael said, we started a business together last year in December that we are now launching to the public world, although we do have several clients already in our repertoire and our files, which we do really love having, though we call them partners instead of clients because we work hand in hand with everything they do. But we realized because what was happening is I would get clients that really needed his support, and he was getting clients that really needed my support. And it was just to hire both of us is very expensive. And so we kind of sat down last year in December and started brainstorming. How could we do this so it's not really, time-wise straining on us, but financially straining because, we pay for software where we help people and do all these other things. So we had to figure out how could we really help people where we're doing sort of a combined service for coaching, leadership, and all the things that Michael does in his active life. And we came up with a plan and we created Business Titans. And if Michael, you want to tell a little more about Business Titans, though?
Yeah, sure. Business Titans is pretty, it's, I don't want to say it's cutting edge, but it almost is. Only because it's like business development in a box almost, meaning that Traci comes in and works with any type of system process, workflow, managerial issue to fix anything that like some of the shortcomings that you would normally see in businesses. And then like I implement like all the different types of digital marketing that are available to said industry. And so when you put both of them together from that perspective, it opens up the business to a lot of growth.
Yeah. So to correlate with what he's saying, you kind of think of us as your workforce business strategist, rather, translating unspoken needs and actionable improvements, forecasting future requirements, really to unlock hidden potential in a business that they were not even thinking about. We serve as a really pivotal partner and influence the force that they can be in the business world, particularly in the realm of marketing and growth and even personal growth for the business owner, because sometimes they get stuck and they can't figure out why. So that's kind of where I come in a different way than Michael does. And kind of, I do coaching one-on-one with these business owners once a week, on top of giving them assignments on how to learn how to be a better leader, on top of also doing another meeting with them where we do growth strategy. So we kind of hit it from all angles and enable business owners to be everything they didn't even realize they could be.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the biggest need, that we all get to the point of, hey, we're doing everything that we can do to build your business, but you're either not helping yourself or you're either stuck in your processes. Or when I first started this business, I used to like going to local businesses that were already clients, and we would look at ways on improving them technology wise. So we walked into this one place and all the orders were still done by fax. And this was 5 years ago. So everything was still done by fax. And then they had 5 data entry girls in there just pounding out spreadsheets of these orders. And, the first thing I asked him is, what is your error rate? And he said, about 26%. And I was like, geez, dude, that right there, you got to fix this stuff. So we actually built a portal and changed everything to where everything was now electronic, and the error rate was now on the customer and not on the people typing in the order, so to speak. But it was one of those things that I completely didn't realize outside the digital marketing world is these people have problems with closing sales, they have problems with hiring people. I mean, there's all kinds of things, especially a small business struggles with. And I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that. So kudos. it's a definite need for sure. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think it's really important because, like, okay, so when I was little, I always thought if you go into business, you have to have a business degree. And now that I'm an adult and I see all these business owners, the majority of them don't have a business degree, and like our industry specific, most of us started in fulfillment. We do a really great job at fulfillment. And so we decide, hey, I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to do this myself because I know how to do it, right? But there's so many fundamental things that we don't know, and we don't know. And until somebody with the knowledge and skill can point out to us, in a constructive way, then we're not going to be able to grow our scale.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, what you have to think about is even somebody walking out with an MBA, they only have 3 years of limited business knowledge that they pick up.
Yeah.
Right. So they learn like certain case studies and whatnot. But the funny thing is if you go in and you grill a lot of those professors and you're like, well, how do you get leads? How do you actually develop business? How do you build that rapport? Those people in there, they've been in academia their whole life. So most of them don't even know, like, how do you actually acquire a client? It'd be like, well, there's a process for that. And you're like, that's great. But what does it look like?
Yeah. And I can attest to that because I do have my doctorate in business administration. So, I mean, you go that high up and you're hoping, oh, you're going to hit the ground and you're going to be able to graduate and do things, right? Well, fortunately, I was already doing things. But the thing is, Michael's right. You do come out and you do have some knowledge in the aspect of how businesses should work. But unless you're actually out there doing it, it does take a twofold scenario. But really, kind of correlating with what Terry was saying is a lot of business owners, and Elisabeth brought this up also, you have an idea and you hit the ground running. I got a great idea. I can sell some crap, right? I can do this, right? But there's 9,000 other pieces that go along with it, So,
yeah.
And it's one of the things that, I made the shift, I don't know, probably 3 years ago from, I say this relatively, I got bored with SEO. I just got bored with ranking things. And so I wanted to become more of an asset to whatever client or whatever. So I started really digging into the branding and the whole idea of just your whole internet picture, so to speak.
yeah.
And that's, again, but that's still only one piece, and it can be a big piece. It can be a small piece, but I used to ask people for business plans when they want me to help them, with marketing, and nobody did business plans. And so I simplified it and said, okay, well, send me your marketing plan. Well, they don't even have a marketing. So basically, and I just got to the point of, well, I'm building this stuff for you. Now we're going to, see what else we can do as far as getting you out there and branded and everything else. And again, I just think that's so important on the internet side, but what you guys are doing are so important on the growth side. And you have to look at both pieces,
For sure.
I'm helping one of my clients right now get ready to sell. He wants to sell in 2 years. So everything that we're doing is focused on building his brand, building his presence, building his organics. He's building his whole organizational structure and doing all that stuff on his side. But it definitely is a cool path to go down when you're looking at a business from a whole picture rather than just a small piece of it. And unfortunately, SEO is such a small piece with just SEO. It's, you're like a little bug on a wall type of thing. I want to be in the room.
Right.
And so, but that's awesome. So did you guys mess around with the internet at all? I mean, I know Traci did, but like our business type stuff when you were in the military, like Clint did?
Well, I mean, Michael, when he was in, they didn't have computers.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with me. I mean, that's my whole. There was no internet. We were lucky to have an intranet.
Oh, I'm just joking.
No, we had computers and we had internet. I remember it was like a big deal. I'd been in the Army for probably about 2 years, and it was a big deal because they were coming out with unit level emails. And so everybody was trying to like get theirs,
That's funny.
Yeah. But then if
Yeah.
you didn't use them for 60 days, they shut them down anyway. So it didn't really make a difference. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
though,
I couldn't get
oh,
I
sorry,
couldn't
go
get
ahead.
email on my bag phone.
Yeah, Michael had the same problem when he was in a swamp in Honduras. He couldn't even make a phone call. Like,
Yeah,
what the heck? No, I actually did a lot of things when it came to the internet. I mean, I did towards the end of my career, I did the data center builds, like I mentioned, and both of you know. But I used to do web design, but I used to do web design when you had to write script. I did all, and then I also did a little bit of not black hat stuff when I worked with special operations and did a lot of coding and things like that. So, I mean, I had an opportunity to really dive into the difficulties. Although what I will say though is WordPress, that is, I mean, that's a whole nother animal. I think I'd rather write HTML, just for the record. So I'm giving Elisabeth kudos on that one. But yeah, when I was in the military, but I was talking to my aunt yesterday, it made me really think about this bigger, is the fact that, we look at corporations, but nobody ever thinks about the fact that everything in the government is run just like a corporation, just like you have CEOs, just like you have businesses. So even though
Well, you hope anyways.
Yeah, well, it does really. I mean, you have glitches in every single matrix, but in the big picture though, when it comes to, because I was talking about sales, and even though, you have government money, you still have to know sales. You still have to understand, especially as an officer, I did anyway, for contracting and things like that, the inner workings of all business pieces, because it is run just like that. So yeah, I did have the opportunity to do a little bit of everything.
So now you guys both work out of your house, I'm assuming.
I try not to.
we do.
Do you guys have separate offices, separate workspaces?
Well,
Yes.
separate and combined. So
Okay.
like I have a large office space and there's a second desk in here for the purpose of us when we're working together on projects and whatnot.
Yeah. I have a large monitor in there because it's to the right of him. I have a large monitor with a MacBook, so that way all my devices are connected, so I can be working in my office space and then go in there if I need to talk to him and show him things. But I found that because I never worked from home, and then COVID happened. Well, first of all, when I was in the Army, I didn't even live at home very often. And then I retired and had to live at home, and that was a trial. And then COVID happened, and then I had to work from home, and I was very nervous about that because Michael and I do have a great relationship. We not jokingly, always say we're such a great power couple because we feed off of each other really well. We each have strong points, and one weak point I might have, he has a strong point. So it's really great. And I was very fearful of being home all the time and not having any separation of church and state. So when we really talked about it, even though he has all that room in his office, I really made a decision to put a desk somewhere else in the house so that way I can close the door and have my own space during the day. And I do many times work from other places because I don't like being at home all the time. But
sure.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have an end time of the day that you guys are done with work and now it's time to do, the breakout family type stuff?
Well, I think we're in a little bit of a different space now because our kids are grown and moved out. So obviously we try to cut off by 6 or 6:30 whenever possible. But at the same time, because we have our individual businesses plus the conjoined one, we get sometimes you have to work till 9:30 or 10 o'clock to finish things, right? And so she says no, but sometimes you do because you have deadlines or things that you have to get accomplished. And, we tend to be pretty understanding of that. So,
yeah, but that's usually really case by case basis. If Michael is not done by 6 o'clock, because look, here's the thing. We both have had careers. We've already lived our lives. We've got a drawer full of those t-shirts working past 5 o'clock. So when 6 o'clock rolls around, I'm normally standing outside Michael's door, tapping on the door, wondering. And so he'll say, okay, give me 30 minutes so I can finish up. But like he's saying, case by case basis, there are days, like there were 2 days, 2 weeks ago, or last week, I can't remember. We've been in so many places, but because I do other things on top of this. I have been writing a book, and I do 9 million other things. So it got to be 8:30, and Michael disappeared and wound up going and running and picking up dinner because he realized he wasn't going to get fed that day. But, just depends on what's going on because, there are priorities we have to put in place sometimes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, you're muted.
I was trying to be respectful in case I was typing. I can definitely attest that if there's a special project I'm working on or something I need to get done, Terry will jump in and do dinner. So, but we do try to stop. I mean, typically we tell everyone dinner's at 6 at our house, but sometimes it's a smidge late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then this week's been this week because I'm been getting the schema course ready and getting videos done and all this stuff. And I like doing that type of stuff after hours or before early morning type stuff before the chaos starts happening. So I think our only hard rule is, clients respecting our time. I don't answer the phone after 5 unless their website's down or some critical problem. But when I first started in this business, I was texting at 8 o'clock at night with my clients and found out really dang quick, gosh, you guys don't do that.
Yeah. I think it's different when you first start though, because you gotta, let's be honest, like in the bigger scheme of things, the more availability that you have to a degree for your clients, the easier it is for them to communicate, the happier typically they stay. But you are right. Like it gets to a point where you're kind of like, send that to me in email format and I'm happy to respond to you. Like you're important, but at some point I do have to have some family time.
Yeah.
And so, but I think when you first start, like, I think everybody does that, just to be honest. I think that's pretty stereotypical.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy too. I mean, I actually had a client quit because we went on vacation. Literally, I came back from vacation and she was so upset and it didn't mean anything. There was nothing critical either direction. I just wasn't at her beck and call.
Well, and the funny thing is we don't normally go on vacation. So that's already an unusual thing to begin with. And you guys know for a fact when we're on vacation or on a trip, we're working all the time. So
yeah, that's true. But what we've learned is we've learned how to set boundaries. Now, Michael will, if he gets a message from somebody late at night or something, I'm a little firm with my boundary setting, but Michael, he does little different things because like websites down, things like that. But we do generally not work on the weekends. Michael will jump on his computer in the morning sometimes before I'm functioning, and he'll respond to people if he needs to. But on the weekends, we do try to, say we need, even though we don't have kids at home, we do still need our time. We still have a relationship, and, relationships are like having a job. You have to work at it or it's not going to keep going, and we understand that. And it's important, because sometimes, and we understand this from our lives in the past, and Michael and I have been together 28 years, you have to understand that at times you have to sit back and focus on the relationship also.
100%.
Yeah, because we're just like you guys. When we travel, we work. But with the one thing we do is we work only in the morning. It is a problem when we come to the West Coast because the East Coast is where we're normally at. But we still only work for a few hours in the morning. So that way, no matter what it is we're doing, we can isolate, the time for work and then the time for, like, if we're visiting people or there to do whatever. So yeah, you have to have work-life balance.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just miserable in the end. And we're not getting younger, we're getting older. We want to be happy as we get older.
Yeah, for sure. And, I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and he literally has not been on vacation in 18 years.
No.
He's afraid to go. And he's got a manager he's been training for a while, and I said, dude, then just take a Monday, Tuesday during the week. Just take a small couple days and just but still have your fingers on everything. Just don't let it blow up in your face. And it's amazing that I can tell how bad he wants that part of his life.
Yeah.
He wants a break, and I get that. And it's just some business owners and I was the same way. I still have trust issues. That's probably the biggest reasons I don't have a lot of employees, but I'm slowly breaking myself of that. But I also want a break. I wouldn't 2 weeks in the Mexico and working, but I'm working on my stuff. I'm working on my affiliate sites. I'm working on my sites that I want to flip and all this stuff that's for me and for my family. I'm not working on Joe Electrician.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. And I'm sure Elisabeth would be happy to be in Mexico for 2 weeks and watch you work.
Exactly.
I know she might be a little red by the time she comes back. She looked like a lobster.
Right?
Oh no.
Definitely.
Hey, Jim, how much is AI affecting or helping or assisting in your current stuff going on with your businesses?
Oh,
I don't use AI for really much anything. I mean, I'll use ChatGPT's image maker to make pictures sometimes, but other than that, I mean, that's probably more Michael's arena.
ChatGPT would help you write a book, though, Dr. Traci.
Yeah, I know. Holly gets on me all the time about that. But the thing is, I love to write. I really am a writer. I mean, I would be a writer for a living if I thought you could do it easily.
For sure.
I mean, I can write very easily. I have a way, like, especially if I'm passionate about something, you start out with an idea. I mean, like 3 weeks ago, I sat down to write an article and then it turned into a pamphlet, then turned into a book. But it's because, I have these ideas and I just start writing. I mean, I have a lot of things in my Google Docs. I'll tell you what, I probably could have 10 books already if I were to just put the ideas all together. But I love
it sounds like it's something you could do.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
You could get in there and use it to do all your outline, and then you could be like, oh, that's my flow, right?
Yes, this is true. And I love all of you for saying it. And maybe I'll get to that because I do have a lot of ideas. And the one thing I have thought about, because, AI is good for some things that I feel like that would be beneficial. Like I'm saying, I have all these ideas. And technically with especially ChatGPT, I could take the 10 pages of ideas I have and ask it to, or you can do this, you can ask it to organize and correlate the information into what would become a book or a pamphlet or whatever. And, so I haven't thought about those things, but I think for AI, if I were to use it, it would be more for something like with make.com where I can automate like postings and things like that on social media and stuff like that. Because I think automating that would be great, or automating processes. Because as both of you know, I'm really process driven, and efficiency is a big thing I'm all about. So those are things I've looked at, especially for Michael's business. And if we could figure out how to do it for him, it'd be easy to implement it with our clients and partners,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, ChatGPT helped me lay out my on-page class outline.
Nice.
And it came out with stuff that I never, I was going to include it, but it didn't come out. I mean, it came out as a different topic.
Different way. Nice.
So it really helped, kind of like, okay, here's my ideas of what I'm thinking. What do you think? And the response back was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
And so that was pretty freaking cool. And then, I'm not a real good writer, especially like Grammarly and spelling and stuff, but I would write stuff and then throw it in there to have it fine tune it and make it better. And that's kind of where I got addicted to it. And one of the reasons I asked is I tell this story all the time that the four of us are the ones that went to Orlando to learn ChatGPT in a weekend. I tell people all the time, it was as far as a conference, it was the worst conference I've ever been to in my entire freaking business life.
Yeah.
But it did, give us some ideas on, at least for the content side, of how to go about introducing it and doing the stuff that we use it for today. But and that's why I wanted to bring up the AI, because when we all four went to Orlando, we were all kind of excited about this weekend. Oh man, we're gonna learn this new thing, and all this stuff, and every single speaker was an upsell.
No, but it got you out of your head for a minute. It got you away from work. And it was a great combination of, okay, let's check out this conference, but let's go hang with our friends.
Oh yeah, no, that was the beauty of it, was just spending time in Orlando, going to Disney and the stuff that we did. I'm just saying, as a conference itself.
Yeah, you know what? To caveat on that, Terry, though, I will say this: it was a miserable scenario, the conference itself. But because I don't work I'm not a software person at all. You know, I hand things to our daughter when I want to understand software better, or I ask Elisabeth to decode it for me. But when it came to going to that event, I think the one thing I can say about it was the exposure of ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
So it was annoying that everybody was trying to sell their product and literally were. I mean, people were signing up for crap, right? But the four of us, thank God, were smart enough to sit back and say, okay, let's listen to what the prompts are and walk away from this at least with that. And I think for me anyway, that was what was helpful, because you do have to have a way to say things in ChatGPT to have the thing regurgitate what the heck what you need, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So yeah, I think for that, it did come out that way, but I think it's just because the four of us are smart. So
yeah, 100%. You know, and we were able to brainstorm together, which you put four of us in the room. There's not much you can do. So
yeah.
So we could all go to Mexico for 2 weeks and imagine what we could come back with.
Total domination.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm down. Let's go.
Could be fun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you using it on your side, Michael?
So we actually are using it to assist us in a current software build that we're doing. So since we're using it for a type of syndication, it assists in speeding up the developer's timeline, because it can do a lot of the heavy lifting and some of the variables that they would have to normally manually code. As well as we use it for backlinks. We use it for content creation, and just things that are pretty straightforward for us. But yeah, like, because we use it, like, so for example, just to kind of paint a picture, we'll use like ChatGPT to create like a podcast script, just for an example, and then we'll kick it over to 11 Labs just so we can get the audio, and then now we can get like SoundCloud backlinks, we can get podcast backlinks and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, once you tier those links and whatnot, they're really powerful. And I think they're very underutilized today, because it's like a multi-step point to get to that. And I think most SEOs, just to be completely frank, are very lazy.
Yeah. So
if they have to do more than just push a button, they don't want to do it. And so we actually get a lot out of that. And as crazy as it sounds, you actually get a lot of listens. Like I did one on divorce, and it was actually pretty good, because I was doing it for a divorce lawyer. And honestly, I could almost promise you that if I really pushed that podcast really hard, I could develop a huge following behind it, because I would angle it from the perspective of not just divorce, but like heartache. So anybody who's ever gone through a bad breakup would want to listen to it also. You know what I mean? Which is everybody. So it just is, and it's crazy. But yeah, so we use it, long story short, like that. But we take the time to create a narrative first, so that way we know what we want from ChatGPT, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to many times. We introduce it to the whole project before we even start the output, and we've started using it more for writing funnel scripts for that we can put in high level. Again, we haven't gone down. I really want to go into the 11 Labs and that aspect of the next system, which maybe that's the phase 3 for Elisabeth and her hiring, what she's doing. Because I just think there's just even the stuff Holly did a year ago when I think she did like 20 podcasts of me for a roofing company doing an interview, and that kind of stuff. I think you can take to the next level pretty quickly, and I'm doing a lot more with YouTube now, which I really never have. And when you start including all those small, reel type videos. Those
Yeah.
things are pretty friggin' cool. So
Did you see what James Slattery did?
no, not lately.
Oh my goodness. He put out, he took, I don't remember if it was Claude or if it was Chat GPT, and he had it create lyrics to send it over to, I don't know what audio one he used, but it created a rap or like a jingle that, and then he put music behind it, and then he created like some type of slideshow presentation afterwards to go for it. And one of the things that he says is that, and I could see it being powerful, is all of the clients usually love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, royalties for a client, is that what he was using it for, or just a fun thing?
He said it's a fun thing you give a client, but what it does is it gets they share it with everybody because they love it across social media and everything. So then it gets a lot of traffic to it, which brings a lot of downloads and plays, which boosts the whole channel up and right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's I think it's, well, I'm also scared of the negative side of AI and content creation of that side. But I do think it's going to be pretty cool. Especially if you're using it for the right way. I mean, my big thing is, especially the way we've been using it and teaching it, how we've been using it, is you really can set your content up a next level, and you can do it at scale, which is what, I mean, a year ago, shit, Michael, you and I were spending a couple $1,000 a month just for content writers, just
right.
$15 an article.
And extra software for clustering, where this will do it for you at no cost now.
Exactly. And so, but you still have to do it correctly. I don't like spitting out junk. We're trying some automated content stuff, and they're still not passing the test, so to speak. But the content you do write, I did 20 articles yesterday for my schema website that I'm doing. And it was awesome. It included FAQs, it included the author box. I mean, it included everything all in one smack. And before we would have had to pay it and then have somebody look it over, get it approved, and we hardly have to get our content approved by our clients anymore, just because they've seen and we tell them this is the output this Chat GPT does, because it's personalized to you and your brand.
Right.
So now we get much better personalized content. Press releases, man, these press releases are awesome that we write with this stuff. So, but again, I don't think you can use it straight out of the box and just start writing content by copying some prompts. It takes a little bit more time, effort, and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's nice that they stay organized too, so you can just scroll down and be like, okay, that's the company that I want, and it's already got all the information, and then it goes in there. So,
hello, Mark Rabb, how are you? So, hey, if you guys have any questions for us or the Rayburns or whatever, put it in there. We're happy to answer any questions. So it's funny too, because I usually get most of the questions after this is over.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to get them while we're on here, huh?
Right.
Exactly. So what are you guys doing the rest of the year? I think you've got something coming up here in Washington, D.C.
We do.
Well, we're going to other events first, though. We are going to Patrick's event. We're going out to Wisconsin, right? No, yeah, Madison, Wisconsin, to celebrate Holly's birthday, and then go to Tennessee to Patrick's event. But then we're not doing anything in August, because we do have Rise of the Titans event coming up, which is our first mastermind event, which we are hoping everybody comes to. Well, no, we only want 30 people to come, but we really wanted it. I took a lot of advice from Elisabeth, and I do every time I talk to her. I ask her little secret questions, because you guys have really mapped a great way of doing things. I do have the opportunity to talk to Moralen, so she does chime in and let me know that let's not do too many big things, vice versa. But I told her, and I've explained this to Elisabeth also, that, you know, we really wanted it to be a smaller event because you guys did an event in New Orleans a few years ago. And I don't know why, but that event always sits in the forefront of my mind at how great it was to be in a room where everybody just wanted to talk. Mm-hmm. And, you know, not that spring training is not the most amazing thing also, because everybody walks away from that with all kinds of great things. But, you know, sometimes when you have a smaller event and people can sit there and actually open their laptops and follow step by step and what the person is talking about and doing, it's really important. And that's really what our goal is for this event, is to have it be where whatever speaker is up there. We do have amazing speakers. Thankfully, we have both of y'all coming. I'm very excited that I convinced Elisabeth to speak, talking about branding and getting your business in the right way and things like that. But I asked for everybody to at least bring something that you can have the group engage in. Have the group, get out your laptop, get out your paper and pen. I don't care how you write notes or do things. Each person that's going to speak is going to engage the people sitting in the group. And like we put in everything, everybody's a VIP. Everybody's involved in everything. Thankfully, the speakers are all willing to stay at the hotel. So that way, if people want to talk after hours, because as we all know, after hours are your best hours. And so I rambled on, Michael. Do you want to chime in? Sorry.
That's all right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm really excited. And like Traci had said, it's a scenario for me where I think it was 3 masterminds that we went to that you all put on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mansion one, but the New Orleans.
We've been to 2 of the spring trainings, and like Traci said, I love spring training. Like I really do. Like hands down, in my personal opinion, it's the best large event for SEO every year. But the masterminds to me are so much more personal, right? Where you build these relationships and bonds. So like if I need something from Brian Cato because we've been to so many events together, I can just message him, or even Simon Cornelius, or there's so many people that go, like even Clint, if I need something, I can message him. Right. And, Clint's kind of like that guy that he's like an onion. You got to keep pulling back the layers to get to him,
But these are all people that you've become friends with after hours at these events, and and not to say we're not talking about great things,
right. But I mean, look, even Brock, Mike, the list is like forever long, right? And it's all from like the after hour stuff, but it all starts more from being able to chat back and forth because of that intimate setting. Just only so many people, and like it's not that it's bad that it's a situation at spring training where they're teaching this amazing topic, but you don't get that, like, hold on a minute, let me ask you a question because I think I see where you're going, but I want to fully understand this, and you can communicate that. And that's really what we were after, is to be able to have like that real learning atmosphere, because truthfully, it's not like, this is one of those weird industries where you can't just go and say, well, I'm going to go to college, or I'm going to go to a trade college for 2 years and I'm going to learn this and I'm going to be good, because, like everybody knows, Google changes the end goal all the time. So like you can do that, you're out for a year and maybe your stuff doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So, this continuing education and building these relationships. And the beauty behind it is, maybe Terry, I'm testing something that you didn't think about. And I'll be like, oh, you know what I just tested that goes kind of in correlation what you're talking about. And this is what I found. And then you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I never thought about that. Right.
Yeah.
And that opens up so much more.
Yeah. But I think that's some of the reason, and this is to applaud Terry and Elisabeth, is why they used to do spring training and then also a smaller event, because I think they saw that the bigger event doesn't give, even if you have Q&A, even if you have the breakout rooms this past one was amazing, but it's a lot to pull in, and so having the smaller event, and it does add a different quality to it, which I'm excited about. But the one thing I forgot to mention is, even though it is an SEO event, really, that Friday we're focusing on SEO business growth, and how business owners and managers and things like that can understand how they can use marketing and business and things to grow their business. And then Saturday, it's a full day of just droning on about IT. I didn't say that out loud. I'm joking. But there are some people that are on Friday that are your normal, IT SEO people, but we're putting them on Friday because they're going to do things to help grow your business, help grow, automate, efficient, all my favorite things are going to be on Friday. So, I told Michael, my fear is, we have so many great speakers. I'm afraid they're not going to have the time to really do what they want, what is intended. But that's why we're going to make sure that they have time after things with everybody. Yeah. And break.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I would say, though, and I think this is true, is like the intent for this one isn't going to be like most people who put on their masterminds. And I say most because there are a few that don't do it this way, but that they bring in people that only want to learn just that one greatest tactic to save that one client that's on the verge and is going to leave even if you fix it, right? Because I don't know how many times I've heard people come up to me, it's like, hey, can you look at something at these events? Because I have this one client and they're about ready to leave me, and I need something that I can get this over the hurdles for them. And most times I can help with that, but the flip side is like, I always feel like going, dude, like you've missed the whole picture, right? The whole picture is not how can I just save that one? Because yes, you want to do that, but how can you go sign up 3 more in the next 30 days as a minimum for a new clients to sign up, right? And bottom line is what I'm getting at is like we're all in this for a business because we want to make money. So why wouldn't we go to things that not only help us move our business forward for its functionalities, but also make it where it makes our business stronger so we can actually generate more income also.
Yeah, for sure. I've always told people the biggest difference I see between a conference environment and the mastermind environment. The mastermind is pretty much intermediate and above as far as level. And there's a lot of masterminds out there that unless you're at a certain monthly reoccurring revenue level, you can't go to, because a mastermind, you're kind of expected for everybody to share. Mm-hmm. So you don't come there as a brand new newbie and it's not made to sit there and absorb stuff, because obviously a lot of the stuff you're going to see is probably a little bit above where you're at currently anyways. But, and I think that's so important to make sure that, if you are ready for growth, if you are ready to take it to the next level, if you are ready to start implementing more AI, if you are ready to start doing this stuff, masterminds are gold. And we stopped doing them just because there's so many good ones that you guys are all doing. You guys are doing one. Cato's doing one. I mean, there's some really cool masterminds coming up. Gary Green's got one coming up. And, those are awesome. I really hope Holly does her dark AI again, because that was one of the coolest mastermind, because it was all about AI and the positives and, more importantly, the negatives of what you can do.
Bringing up things that we haven't been exposed to. Like, yes, we're in the industry. Yes, we do this all day, every day. But there's some really great cutting edge stuff that we're not aware of. And, she was great about bringing in people that we've never heard of. And I love that, Yeah. But again, to speak to, like, Michael, you were saying the masterminds are like super intimate. You really get to know people. So many of us spend our life behind the computer and we don't always get out and meet people. And the personality that you are online may not always be 100% who you are in person.
I know you're a party animal, so
yeah, I know. Well, and at some level, there's that security of I can shit talk everybody and I can rile things up. But you sit face to face against somebody, it's a whole different emotion dynamic. You really get to know that that person as a person and not just somebody online,
Right.
So it helps to strengthen obviously our business and our relationships and our industry. So, I know I've said that Terry and I, for like the first 7-8 years, we didn't know anybody in the industry. We were heads down, working, doing the things, trying to figure stuff out. And it wasn't until we started kind of branching out a little bit. And we still even fangirl over some of these people. It's like, oh my gosh, really? Like they're talking to me. Like it's like really cool.
Some of the people I'm, some of the people coming for spring training 2025 are just gonna blow people's doors.
No,
She is keeping me so tied down, and I'm not allowed to say this, but
And it's only July. What in the world are you going to do, Terry? We have to take
I know I'm freaking out here already. So, but it's cool when you get to the point of even going outside your comfort zone to try to get somebody else to come in and talk about stuff. And that's the biggest thing that I like about them, especially the mastermind setting and the conference setting. In my mind is the first step. If you want to start doing this business, you want to start doing this right, and you want to start following or fangirling or whatever kind of terminology you want to do people, go to the conference. You don't have to spend a fortune. There's always, every conference seems to be getting more expensive, but you don't really, if you can't afford the VIP, don't do the VIP. Just go and start.
That's true.
But go and have a plan. Don't just go just to go. Even us. We're going to Tennessee next week. I'm speaking at the Forge Mastermind for OMG. And I've got my list of things I want to accomplish that week compared to the people that are also speaking, so it's super, super important that no matter what event you go to, have a plan, have a goal in mind. Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to meet? That type of thing. And then talk to the hosts. The hosts are your leg into these people. If you walk up to Michael and say, "Hey man, I really always wanted to meet Clint," but first of all, we'll just go up and smack Clint. But Michael will introduce you to Clint. Michael, that's the way it starts. Us introverts like me, you put me in a room of 100 people and I'm gonna sit in the corner.
You will.
I will. I won't talk to anybody. But as you start introducing me to people, then I start coming out of my comfort zone and I start talking a little bit more and all this other stuff. So
that's actually funny because I remember meeting you in person for the first time in Vegas. And you were friendly to me, but because we only knew each other a little bit online, I felt like that you didn't not like me, but you weren't. I felt like you were very unsure of who I was. You know what I mean? But then when I came to your next event, you came up and gave me a hug and everything else, and I was like, "Oh, okay." He's just a little standoffish. So
it's so funny because years ago at church, the pastor really had to come and sit and talk to Terry because they told him he was very unapproachable. Yeah. And I'm like, "What? Huh?" Yeah. I didn't get it. Obviously.
Yeah, and I was on the church leadership team, and the pastor came up and said, "People just don't want to talk to you. They're intimidated by you." And I'm like, "What? Really?" That's so Tom Cruise is, this is the look. I don't know.
Right.
Only look I got.
So, but no, I'm super excited for your event. I think it's going to be, first of all, Washington, D.C. One of the most historic places on the freaking planet, at least in Europe.
And Friday night we're going to take everybody out to dinner somewhere really great. And then Saturday night, we're going to do a party bus and go around DC so everybody can see the monuments in the evening. And it's going to be a good time.
We also you can't forget about Thursday. I think Thursday
is
equally as important.
So Thursday, can I tell? Because I'm excited about it.
Yes, tell us.
Sure.
Well, because, Chad gave us a really great suggestion, because we went to an event recently, this year, where they didn't have the event at the hotel. No ding on you guys. You always pick the top-notch hotels. But he had recommended, hey, see if you can find something at a different location. So you know me, anybody makes a suggestion, I look at all my options. And we actually finally narrowed down. We're going back and forth with a couple locations, but we really wanted one of our clients who's got amazing catering business to cater the event. And so we wound up going to a place last week, and we're locking it in because we're going to have the penthouse, which is their top floor. It's mostly all windows, obviously, except where the TVs are. But the evening event for Thursday night on August 22nd, we're doing a welcome event, and it's going to be on the patio of the penthouse, which overlooks the Potomac River and Washington, D.C.
Nice.
So, yeah.
But what makes it important is it's like the meet and greet. It's the time for people to kind of, like what you said, you were wrapping it up.
I was not.
It was one of those. It's just, it's a great way to meet people, and that way, you get to meet them before the conference, so that there's no like, I want to talk to this person. How do I approach them?
Yeah.
And to make it even easier, we're bringing in some, a little bit of whiskey, some beer, and some wine.
We're bringing in liquid courage.
Right. So that way we can all get over ourselves, and we can go ahead and remove that, restriction, and then talk freely amongst each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So Thursday evening, we'll have drinks. We'll have light appetizers. If you get there and you're starving, grab a bite on the way. There's plenty of restaurants en route. But and everything, the hotel is walking distance from the event. So and we're close to the Ronald Reagan Airport. So shuttle straight to the hotel. You don't even need to rent a car if you don't want to.
Right.
So we're pretty amped up about it, especially now that we have the location locked in, and it's really going to be exciting.
We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at staying. I'm not sure a day before or a day after, which I think it's another thing. If you travel to events, don't do like we do. It's just fly in and fly out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Spend some time to see some things.
We found that is definitely what we try to do is stay like 2 days after the event. Well, to decompress, to remember everything you just learned, but also have a day in the location wherever you're at. And on Sunday, we are doing a day in DC for anybody who wants to join us. We're going to provide lunch that day for whoever's with us on Sunday, hanging out in DC, walking around, doing all the things. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and most of your meals are provided, so that speaks to the value too. Because I know, when we do events, it's like, okay, I've got to look at the flight, I've got to look at the hotel, I've got to look at food and the event. And so I love that you guys are integrating that. I love that you're using one of your clients to help support their business. So there's a lot of positive things about it.
Yeah, we're definitely providing breakfast and lunch both days at the event. Like I said, Thursday evening, the welcome event will have light appetizers, but knowing me, I like to feed people. It'll probably be enough to fill people up. But then, and the dinners. Saturday evening, we're doing the party bus, but we're thinking about adding some food in it somehow. There will definitely be liquid courage on the party bus. So anybody that wants to participate and they're nervous to talk to people, there'll be some liquid courage available. That was the whole thing is, we want to make it so people don't have to worry about anything, especially people that aren't from the area, and it is on the wharf, which is part of DC, but you're right on the Potomac River. You can walk out to the water. There's restaurants all right there, stores, anything you need.
Tons and tons of nightlife there.
Yeah.
Like tons and tons. So if you're like, screw this, my brain can't handle talking SEO for another minute, and you want to go to a bar or a club or whatever, I mean,
I don't know that there's any clubs there, but there's definitely some bars. There's a great Irish bar. I mean, it's a good spot. So either way,
they're not far from the club, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's definitely great whiskey.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
Right. Yeah. The last thing I would definitely note that's really cool about DC, and it's almost like the nowhere else, is majority, not all of them, but majority of the museums are free.
Yeah.
So that's the coolest thing. Like if somebody wanted to go check out, an art museum, or they want a natural history museum, or all those are totally free to go to. They're all the Smithsonian museums and our nation.
If somebody If somebody
picks
wanted
up the tab for that.
I'm talking.
I was finishing.
If somebody wanted to bring their family, they have stuff to do during the day too, and they can easily get to DC. So it's
Right.
going to be great. I'm really excited about it.
Well, and I know what
Awesome.
it's like to put these things on, and there's like so many parts and pieces and so many little details that go into that. And it looks like you have thought of so many different things, and I appreciate that, you know.
Well, we're just thankful that our speakers are, you know, so willing to come out. I mean, most of our speakers don't live anywhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, except James Slattery. I'm gonna throw that out there. We got him. We got him coming down.
Brock and Mike technically live on the East
They
Coast.
live in Florida. That's its own country. That doesn't count.
But you should check out the speaker lineup. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's really great.
It's pretty good. You know, I told Michael, it was funny when we started thinking about it. We were like, well, let's reach out to people to see if people would even come to the East Coast to speak for our event. And, you know, it really showed us, you know, the quality of friends we are to people and how dedicated we are to other people. It made us kind of a good feeling, you know, to know that, you know, we look out for people also, which proved it to us that the amount of great people that are going to come to the event. So
yeah, for sure. And that's you know, that's the great thing about it is, you know, the hardest thing about putting these things on in my mind is the speakers.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't even want to look and see how many requests I got for next spring training. And you know, I don't know what kind of committee I'm going to put together to help me sort it all out, but you know, but it's something that as a host you have to think about. So not only do you need to make sure that, you know, you have enough speakers and you don't go overboard, you know, you have enough speakers with enough time. I saw an event the other day. Obviously we're not going to it, but literally each speaker had 20 minutes. It was like a total cattle call. It was like, wow, that to me, I wouldn't even want to speak at that type of an event just because it's, you know, here's it is and it's gone, you know. And it's like, yeah. So, anyways, it seems to me that some of these events are trying to pound more in and more in and more in, to where most of the time, like a mastermind, less is more. You know, you're all hanging out together anyways. You know, you know, the one we did in New Orleans, the one we did in Treasure Island, you know, those two were just fabulous because it was really, you know, we were in a room for a certain amount of time all together, but we were also hanging out at the tiki bar, you know, the rest of them together.
Exactly.
You know, we're all going to the same restaurant or, you know, a totally different environment. So no, kudos for you guys doing this. I'm excited about it. So
thank you.
Well, thank you. We're excited that you guys are going to be involved. We love it.
Yeah.
Good deal. So anyways, we're wrapping up here. I threw my little thing out there. I've been working all week to get my schema course done. I'm telling you what, there's not anything out there that's going to be like this schema course. This thing is going to be almost everything you ever need to know about schema and how to use it and why to use it. So I've really spent a lot of time on this thing. I've been teaching it for years. But it's pretty cool putting this together. So, but yeah, you can still get it for the pre-sale price. Not a problem. I'm hoping to launch it this week. I'm in the video stage now, and every time I make a video, I screw up. I gotta start over. Take 42.
Awesome.
But anyways, well, thank you everybody for joining us. We will not be doing this next week. We'll actually be on a plane to Nashville. But look forward to more Tech Talk with T&E. And like, subscribe, and Rayburn's, thank you so much. We love you guys. One of our best friends.
Yeah.
And we will see each other in
a couple weeks.
Gatlinburg, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Gatlinburg. That's going to be fun. Patrick Shannon event in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.